Hello, and welcome back. This is a textbook, Understanding World Societies, McKay. That's the first author, so that's what we refer to it as. This is where the quizzes will come from. This is a History 101 and a 102 textbook. So if you are going to take the 102 class, hold on to this book. If you want to resell it, that's good because everybody at Camden County College uses this book for 101 and 102. It means you will be able to sell it back. Now, in the upper right hand corner, you can see available with Launchpad. We don't use that. We have web study, you have the audio lectures, you've got me. We are not using the Launchpad code. You don't need any of that. So don't worry about it. It's just a textbook. Why use someone else's material when we could create our own? And it would be better since that's what you're paying for. So this is the textbook. When I refer to the textbook, this is the book I mean. When you cite in your essays, textbook, this is the book I understand you to mean. This is the textbook. Now, how should one use the textbook? The textbook is the second part of the class. The audio lectures are part one. They are where the best information for the tests are located. If you are to do only one thing, you do the audio lectures because 75% of your grade is the test. It's not going to be good if you fail all the quizzes, but they're only 25% of the grade. So you have to listen to the audio lectures. The second part is the textbook. All of the quizzes come out of the textbook, but it is used as a reference. There's a lot of the what stuff in it. It is a reference to help populate your essays with specifics, battles, dates, people, examples. They're full of examples. When you go to Wikipedia looking for an answer, it's in the textbook. It's there. It's already there. So you go to Wikipedia and you copy and paste something from there, you get an F, you get a 0 for plagiarism. Using the textbook, that's the same material that you're trying to find. The same thing. So it's a lot of the whats, it's battles, it's names, it's dates. It's boring stuff. It is not sexy. I give you, it is not sexy. But it is the content. Now, the audio lectures are the explanation of a lot of the content. But the textbook is kind of the raw data. So you need an example that proves nomads are awesome. Boom, go into the textbook. You need a battle that shows the Persians are really good at war. Boom, go into the textbook. That's how you should use it. You use it for quizzes, but then you use it for the filling out your outline stage of your prep. So you do your quiz readings, done. Then you do your test prep. So you listen to your audio lectures, you start writing notes, and you go, okay, what do I got? And then you do an outline, and you realize you have a hole here and a hole there. You're missing a little you're a little thin. So what do? Textbook. That's how you use it. We have another book in this class. And that book has caused a lot of problems. Starting with the publisher, then the bookstore. So next we talk about the source book, or what I call the reader. The source book. Sources of World Societies, 3rd edition. And this has caused all problems because they didn't print the 3rd edition till the middle of September. Whoever that genius was is probably being fired because that's tens of thousands of dollars that are on the line. So a decision that should have been made in June was put off for whatever reason till September, and the effect is that you have a textbook that is 2nd edition, but a source book which is a 3rd edition. Now, the thing that has caused a lot of trouble is that I call this the reader. And the reason I call it the reader is because there's readings in it, and it's what we call it in grad school. It's just the name for it. They used to be called readers. And so what's in there is the work by people alive at the time we talk about it. So we call it a reader because you're reading their writings. And so it's a book full of short pieces from lots of different authors. So let's take a look. Okay, so this is what the table of contents looks like. And if you go to your syllabus, you'll see why it says sources, ... for source book, and then 1-1, 2-2, 2-5. Rather than write out the entire title, and rather than write just a giant swath of pages, 10 to 35, I wanted you to be able to pick out the specific ones. So it goes 10, so it goes 2-4, 2-5. That tells you exactly which reading to read. These are things written by the people at the time. So Ashurnanipal, 2-4, is an inscription, a chronicle about him and all the stuff he does. In The Persian Emperor Proclaims His Righteousness, Cyrus the Great is going to do the same thing. He's going to list all the awesome things he does. These are what's called primary sources. They are done by the people at the time the event happens. They're like your diary, your Instagram photos, your Instagram feed, your Facebook feed. They are the thing done at the time. Secondary sources are your textbook, things done much later about things that happened before. We like primary sources because primary sources are usually more truthful because people are writing down what they think about something at the time rather than gaining it like Whisper Down the Lane. If you've ever played Whisper Down the Lane, you know the problem, that over time the interpretation of a thing can change. And so we like primary sources. History is full of reading primary sources. And I was very excited to have it be part of our class. The problem is that the book publisher decided to mess it all up by making a new edition that they didn't even print until the middle of September. So you haven't gotten it yet. It just came in last week. And then the bookstore had problems with ordering copies of the textbook, and everything has been a mess. But this is what the source book, or as I call it, the reader. So when you see reader and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, there's only 2 books. There is the textbook and the sources on world societies. So when I say reader, it can only be that book. Now, There are 2 volumes of this. The publisher gives both volumes because the textbook is 2 volumes in one in order to save cost. And so we do not use volume 2 of Sources of World Societies. For you, if you are only in 101, you don't need it. We only need the volume 1 sources. Now, there is nothing now official involving this book. So in some ways, it's all been for nothing. Since, one, I don't even have a copy of the 3rd edition. I had to take the photograph of a book that I got from the bookstore, but I don't even have my own. The publisher hasn't sent the professors copies yet. So there's that problem. So I don't know if the material in the back of the syllabus lines up with the material in the table of contents. I don't know. It may change. There used to be a quiz that would be on on the readings. Every quiz would have readings on it. All of them have been stripped out. The reading quiz, which was an entire chapter, is going to be like quiz 2, has been cut out. So at this point, for you guys, there is to use this book like the textbook as a supplement to the audio lectures. There is no punishment. There is no test. There is no quiz out of this book. And so this is the book I call the reader. It is the source book, and it is the primary sources. So if there is a question like, is the Persian kings good leaders? Well, you can go to Cyrus Proclaims His Righteousness and find something he says about himself, which would show he's a good leader. That's the idea of it, is to help you supplement your essays with quotes from the people at the time. If you want to say the Assyrians were mean guys, mean leaders, okay. What does Ashurbanipal say? Oh, when he says, I kill all my enemies, well, that might not be nice. And so that's how to use it. Like the textbook, as a supplement to the audio lectures in order to populate a dense paragraph in your essays. To write an awesome essay. So next we'll talk about the essays.